I don't gotta be it. Look.
What it do? Welcome to the Jews and Tools podcast. This is Coach Kel, and we are here for episode number 4, and I'm ready and excited to actually talk to you guys this week. But before we get started, I want to go ahead and let you know about those social media platforms as well. We are at Coach Kel Inspires on IG. We are also at Jews and Tools podcast on IG. That's JEWELSN. TOOLSPODCAST. And you can also catch us on iTunes. You can catch us on Shopify. You can catch us on Spotify, Anchor, and also we just also got added to Google Play. So make sure you pull up. So we're going to get right into it. This has been, well, first of all, let me apologize. We didn't do anything for the last couple of weeks. I actually been having some great opportunities that I'm working on. So I'll be giving you guys some praise reports very, very soon. But we're going to get started. This week, since I didn't do one last week, I'm actually going to give you a 2 for this week. So you will get 2 podcasts this week. So this will be the first one of this week. And we're going to get right into it. You already know what I'm going to talk about. Yeah, you know what I'm going to talk about. Miss Carter. Oh, man. Miss Carter. Homecoming. Are you serious? Are you serious, Miss Carter? How you do that, though? So, I had the pleasure of looking at Beyonce and her team on the Homecoming documentary that is out now on Netflix. And all I can say is, yo, I understand. Miss Beyonce, I understand. Miss Carter, I understand. This was I love concerts. I really enjoy like the documentaries of concerts when they're good. And this documentary of the Coachella experience from last year, it's up there with Bob Marley. Yeah, it's up there with Bob. Yeah, I'm gonna put that out there. Yeah, the documentary that Bob has, yeah, it's up there. Congratulations, Miss Carter. That's what I call her for now. For now, and I don't call her Beyonce no more. She Miss Carter. Cause after seeing what I seen, ooh. But we're gonna while I'm looking at this, I've been purposely trying to low key stay away from Beyonce music since Lemonade. You know, I was kind of slighted. I was like, yo. And it wasn't just because of the content of the Lemonade album. Beyonce make it tough out here for you. If you a dude, yeah, Miss Carter can make it tough for you. She can make it tough for you. So I really haven't really been engaged really into her music and into her content, like really. But when I saw the glimpses of the pieces of the Coachella performance when she actually did it back in 2018, I was like, man, that's a cool little thing. You know, I graduated. I went to a HBCU. I went to Florida A&M. So I liked the theme. I was like, okay, that's fine. You know, I'll check it out, but never really put forth any effort into checking it out. So then, you know, here it comes, and it's available for me to check out. So get on the Netflix and it grabbed my attention from the very start. And I had the pleasure of looking at this with my beautiful wife. And we actually just sat there really in awe and in silence for the entire, I don't know, I think it was almost like 2 hours, I think. And I was just sitting like with my mouth open, eyes big, and I'm just like, yo, this is the, it was so visually stunning. And like I've said in past podcasts, music is a time machine for me, and it took me some places. It really took me back in time. The first place that it actually took me, in 2000, Destiny's Child was the frontliner for grad night. That was my grad night. And me and my homeboys, we was on Destiny's Child. We wanted all the smoke with Destiny's Child. We had actually formulated a scheme to get on stage while they performed at grad night. See, for you young jits, it was grad night before it was grad bash. Okay, that thing that y'all got going on, that's nothing. Grad night. It's a lot of people who the only reason they stayed in school was to go to grad night. And it's also a couple of people who deliberately, fell back so they can go to grad night twice. We ain't gonna say no names, but legend has it. So on our grad night, we got the originals, Destiny's Child, the originals, all four. We was gonna get on that stage. We'd already formulated a plan. I had my camcorder. We was ready. We was ready to go down in history. We was gonna do that. We was gonna make a name for them boys from out of Jackson and Wilson High School. But as fate would have it, some idiots from down south, I can't remember where they was from, they didn't have a plan. And on the Jews and Tools podcast, we all about planning to execute. These guys, they did not have the plan. They just bum rushed the stage. Bum rushed the stage to the fact until Beyonce had to say, "Okay, guys, settle down." And then when she said that, that's when we saw the black suits come from out of nowhere. That was the end of our plan. So looking at this performance, I was like, yo, I remember the grad night performance. It was cool. It was grad night. It was graduation. But baby, that homecoming deal, it was amazing. There's not, I've seen some amazing things in my life, but that performance was amazing. Just from the music, the utilization of the live instruments, her dancers, her support staff, the lighting, the flow of the actual set was just amazing. It really left you wanting more. And I actually rediscovered myself as a Beyonce fan. Oh, excuse me, Miss Carter. I actually rediscovered myself as a Miss Carter fan, because I really used to be on Miss Carter like that. But like I stated, it was a time machine. And one thing that I figured out while I was looking at this was that me and Miss Carter, we've had a rocky track record. We really have. All starting at that grad night. And the reason why I say that me and Miss Carter have had a rocky track record is because there are many women that I've dated since I was 18 years old that were not remarkably influenced by Miss Carter. I know for a fact at least 4 times during the process of breakups, Miss Carter has been brought up and verbalized many times. To the left, I went through that, guys. You must not know about me. Yeah, we went through that. Oh man, the single ladies deal, that put a lot of pressure on dudes. A lot of pressure. If you like me, you better put a ring on it. Oh man, yo, dudes was biting their fingernails during that whole season. And like I like, so I'm thinking about all these experiences that I had with like exes, and how Miss Carter has some way been a part of those situations. And I'm just like, man, like, this has been almost 2 decades of maintaining powerful influence. Like, how is this possible? So after we finished looking at it, it was kind of late in the evening. My wife went on and went to sleep, and I actually just really sat back and really started to think about the Carters as, you know, what y'all call them, relationship goals. I really started to look at that, and really started to look at their power of influence for both of them. I stopped wearing jerseys because of Jay-Z. Change clothes. When Change Clothes came out, I stopped wearing throwbacks. I don't know this guy. You know, I've purchased all of his entire catalog, some of them multiple times because of the CD era, and people stealing his stuff. But I started to really think. I was like, yo, got these two people who meet each other, and they are the real relationship goals. Like I think it's like, real talk. It's like Jay and, for most people, what I'll say for most people, it's like Jay and Beyonce, and then under them is Barack and Michelle. I don't know who the third would be. I really want to say T.I. and Tiny, but yeah, I say T.I. and Tiny. Maybe. The whole separate house thing, I did bring that up one time. I'm getting off on a tangent. Anyway, so I really started to look at Miss Carter individually, since this was a showcase of her many talents. And I was just like, yo, how has she been able to keep this sphere of influence that is very consistent for, like I said, almost for 2 decades now. And I really wanted to, I really, that's what we're going to talk about today. Is to how can you put yourself in a position to harness and maintain the power of influence. I think influence is one of the most powerful vehicles to help you get to your destination of purpose. Influence is one of those things that you can't buy it. Influence is only earned. And once you earn it, it only increases in value. Unless you devalue it. And that's what I want to talk about today. But before we get, I gotta mention this. So, at one point when I was looking at, I can't remember what song she was saying, and I looked over at my wife, and she was just looking at me, and she had like that if you're a husband, your wife has that look that she looks at you, that she think about stuff that you done did that she didn't like in the past, and she reliving it. She was looking at me like that, and I ain't gonna lie, man. Like it was some pressure around my house for a couple of days, because I think she was looking at me, and she was like, I think she think I was like really checking Miss Card out. My wife know I like red bones and things of that nature, and I think that's why she kind of had an attitude with me. But low key, I really had an attitude with her, because I was waiting to hear her sing a Lemonade song, and it was gonna be some Smoke in the City. Like, I was waiting. I thought Beyonce was gonna be a catalyst of some foolishness in my house, but we made it through. We actually made it through. Now back to this influence thing. I like, if you think about her career and what she's been able to do, it's truly remarkable. It's truly remarkable. I don't even think that you can. I can't really think of a word that is even fitting to describe her. The only word that I think that can come close would be a creator. Because she's not an artist. She's not a singer. She's not a producer. She's not an actress. She's like all encompassing, like, and now she's getting to this space where, and she's a mogul, like the things that her and her team do and the way in which they do it, it should be setting the course how all creators should go about creating. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about this influence, and what are some things that we can learn from Miss Carter, learn from the Homecoming documentary, learn from the relationship goals that a lot of us are infatuated with. What is it that we can learn from being spectators of her remarkable life, other than song lyrics? Other than Boy Bye and You Must Not Know About Me, and Cater. Oh, that's one of my favorites. Cater to You. Ooh. But other than those lyrics, what are some things that we can look and learn and start to emulate in our own lives in order to increase our influence? So I just got a small list of things that I saw and that I've seen while, and I said I am a fan, while being a fan of Miss Carter. Excuse me, Mrs. Carter. First and foremost, the first thing that we can learn from Beyonce is put in the work. I would love for each and every one of you, if you have not done so, if you have not had the opportunity to do so, go to YouTube and type in Beyonce's performance Star Search. And for some reason, it's going to say 1983, but I know it's not 1983. I think it's 1993. But I want you guys to go back and look at the performance on Star Search. And I believe at that point, they had been putting in maybe, I think, might have been a group for like 3 or 4 years. And if you look at that performance, and then you look at the homecoming performance, the only thing you can say is, yo, you see that? Like, in order to get from, and that's where trajectory comes to play. You look at that performance and you look at the homecoming performance, you start to see what trajectory and focus will get you. But in order to get that, you have to put in a lot of work. See, the thing about influence is not something that you could purchase. Influence is not something that it just happens. Influence is something that I can't go on. I don't care what anybody says. I can't just go on my IG and post up images and it allows me to positively impact individuals or negatively impact individuals on a consistent basis. In order to be an influencer, in order to create the power of influence, true power of influence, people have to see you putting in work. Once again, people have to see you putting in work. And see, the people that you actually influence and that you have the greatest impact on, they're not going to be the bandwagoners. They're not going to be your fans. See, a lot of times we have, in this culture that we live in now, we have misconstrued some things. We believe that the people that we have great influence over are the people that follow us, the people who are bandwagoners, the people who seemingly want insight on what we have to say and things of that nature. Those aren't the people that we actually have influence over. The people that we have influence over and we're able to exercise the power of influence are the people who are directly connected to us and the people that we are able to draw closer to us. Because that's the big thing about influence. Influence is like a magnet. Influence is like the magnet. If you are in your place, if you're operating inside of your purpose and you're putting in the work, you are going to attract like-minded individuals that will be willing to assist you to get closer to your purpose. That's what influence actually is. It's not saying, hey, I like this product, you should buy this product. That's not what influence is. That's spokesmanship. There's a lot of people who have spokesmanship. They have selling power. Selling power isn't the same thing as influence. Influence will... True influence is when you can cease to exist and people will continue to put forth your teachings and your legacies. Nipsey Hussle was an influencer. And that's why you're still seeing the marathon continues. There's no doubt in my mind that Nipsey Hussle will ever be forgotten. No doubt in my mind. It's not going to happen. It's not gonna. It's not gonna happen. It's just. It's like forgetting Tupac. It's not going to happen. So what I would like for you to do in your journal, I want you to start writing down some ways that you can, areas in your life that you feel like you can put in more work to increase your influence. For example, me personally, I have to put more work in being more timely. And the reason why I say I have to put more work at being timely is because there are a lot of times that I have a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts, and I wait for others. I have to stop doing so. This podcast is a result of the first step of me not waiting on others to go ahead and push forward myself, because that's the only way that I can increase my influence and then also become more innovative as well. Now, the second thing, now the first thing is that we can learn from Miss Carter, put in the work. If you right here quoting these Beyonce lyrics, you need to be right here putting in that work that Beyonce put in. Did you see how she lost all that weight from having that baby to the day of the show? You motivated me, baby. Listen, I'm on that. That was one of the most powerful things of the documentary for me. I was just like, yo, because I just started to think like, yo, she Beyonce, like, she really, when she hit me, she was just like, on the part where she was like, I'm hungry. She meant that. Beyonce was hungry. Beyonce, she was like, I ain't no meat, no alcohol, no sugar, no carbs. She was like, just plant-based. I'm hungry. I was like, man, I done been there. I feel you. And that was powerful for me, and that was something that, even me being a guy, that was something that I was able to take away from it. Like, yo, this lady just had a baby. She's able to be the creator that she is, a wife, a business person, and she right here. I think she lost what? I think like 65 pounds, something like that, something crazy like that. Yeah. That's motivational. Like you have to get on that. So you got to put in the work. And that was the thing. She put in the work. Number 2, you have to cultivate yourself and exercise yourself to be able to not only put in the work, but also push past the storms. That was the second thing that hit me about the Homecoming documentary. And it hit me as soon as Kelly and Michelle came on stage. I was like, man, she put on for her team. Like, I was like, man, she really put on for her team. And that's when it hit me, is that, also it took a lot for that nucleus to stay together. And I can remember like how people were attacking Beyonce and Michelle. Beyonce and Kelly when they did the restructuring of the group. I remember that vividly. Like it was almost like a witch hunt. Like they was trying to especially Beyonce, they was trying to let her have it. Like, you ain't Beyonce and her daddy. I couldn't have been Beyonce's dad at the time, because if I was Beyonce's dad at the time, I would have got locked up, because they were doing interviews and they were going at Beyonce's neck. And if I was her father, if I was on set, if that was my daughter Kennedy, and my daughter Kennedy was being asked some of the questions that they were asking Beyonce, Miss Carter at the time, and the way in which they were doing it, I would have swung on one of them, you know. So she had that. Then I know another big thing that was publicized in her career was when not her, but when her parents divorced, when they went through their thing, she took it like a champ. Now, we all know about the merit. Well, we don't know about the marital issues. We know about the supposed marital issues. We know about Lemonade, and what supposedly got them to Lemonade. But the elevator was a storm. Because, and my married people are going to feel this a little, I think they're going to feel this a little bit more than my single listeners. So I'm going to pose this question from two sets of shoes. First, ladies, could you imagine yourself being in an elevator with your husband and your sister, and your sister takes off on your husband, and you sit there, you kind of greased, but you sit there and you just like, you still graceful. You just like, okay. And then have to deal with the scrutiny after that. Like, ladies, right now, if you had to go through that situation, how would you would have reacted in that moment? And then also the aftermath of that. Okay, think about that. Now, fellas, my brothers, how would you have reacted if you was in the elevator with your wife, your wife's sister, your sister-in-law, and she take off on you? I had to think about that for a second. Could I have done what Jay did? Could I have just been graceful and like, yo, but I'll be honest. I really feel like if that was me in that situation, my wife and her sister, they'd probably jump me. I'm just gonna be honest. Cause whatever Jay did, it was more to get swung on. But you know, I have to think. My wife has two sisters. Maybe it'll depend on which one or what my wife would do. But yeah, I was when everything happened. I remember when I first saw the clip, and at first, you know, I thought it was gonna be something crazy on the elevator with Jay and Beyonce. Because when I first saw it, I hadn't seen. I think I might have just saw like an Instagram clip or something first. And then when Salon came, when that, you know, throwing them hey hallelujahs, I was like, yo. And I think this happened maybe like 3 or 4 years before I got married. I was like, yo, that can't be married life. That cannot be married life. Like, that's crazy. But that's a storm that they had to make it through. And I was just thinking to myself, I was just like, man, if Mocha, so my wife, one of my sister-in-laws, her name is Mocha. If I'm on the elevator and Mocha hit me, I know I'm gonna have to call the police on Mocha, because Mocha ain't gonna stop. I know that for a fact. Now, if I'm in the elevator and Skeet hit me, I know I done did something dead wrong, and I'm just gonna have to go ahead and repent. But if Mocha hit me, I gotta call the police. Yeah, because she ain't gonna stop. Yeah. And then she ain't gonna stop talking about it either. And she gonna use that to threaten me every time she see me and she feel froggy. So yeah, I don't know if I could have did it. IJ did it. But they pushed through that storm though. You know, I ain't Beyonce. But the power to push through storms is something that you're gonna have to be equipped with in order to increase your power of influence. The reason being is this. The people who you have the power to influence and use that power greatly, those are the individuals that are really analyzing you to see what you do in the public eye. They're the ones that's looking to see how you react. They're the individuals who are learning and analyzing off of what you do and how you carry yourself. So if you're going through a storm and you just act crazy or flip out, put your emotions on your sleeve, if you're not strategic when you're going through your storms, there are going to be people who are sitting watching, and the opportunity cost could be you losing your power of influence with those individuals because of the way that you react. And so that's one of the things that I'm learning now, is that just because I'm used to doing things a certain way, just because I was taught to do things and react to things a certain way, and also because I am comfortable doing and reacting to things a certain way, I no longer have the ability to do that, because I now invested into increasing my realm of influence and also increasing my power of influence. I'm attempting to increase my capacity. So I cannot, if someone comes to slap me on an elevator, I cannot slap them back. If someone comes and, says something crazy to me out in public, I cannot go there with them and like my granddad would say, tongue wrestle with them. Now, I might still say what I'm going to say and keep it nice, short, and sweet, but that's going to be it. But then what I'm learning now is that I also have to know my audience. One of the hardest things for me to practice this is, I do the Coach Kel Gaming, where I live stream with people and we have discussions while we play mostly Call of Duty. And if any of you have either played online with your kids, or you actively play online by yourself or with your friends, the online atmosphere can be very, very toxic. And that's why I am attempting to bring some positivity into that atmosphere. But over the last couple of weeks, I myself have found myself contributing to the toxicity of the environment. And mainly it's because, I have to watch, I play a lot of what they call the World League. I play in a competitive league. And in this competitive league, you're matched up you can be matched up. You can pick your own team, or you have people matched up to be on your team, but you're always going to be playing other opposition. And a lot of the times the opposition it's a lot of white nationalists. Yeah, the tiki torches and khakis. It's a lot of them that play. I think that's why they think they can fight. It's because a lot of them are fighting online and they don't know the difference. But the environment is real laxed with what can come, what people would say. And the other day, I'm confessing a sin right now. The other day I was playing, and I knew that the guy was young, and like the kid might have been like 16, 17 years old. And usually when they go with their racial epithets, I leave it alone. I might say, hey, watch your mouth, Jit. Keep it moving, and that'd be it. But I was playing, and these two guys, they just would not shut up. And before I knew it, I was talking like I was from 26 on the Boulevard. Like really going there to the point where my wife had to come in and say, you need to stop. And I did. I did have to stop because I was going in. One thing about being from Jacksonville, we especially from where I'm from. I'm from 26 on the Boulevard. Some people, y'all can call it Pearl or Birch. I'm all of that. We like to talk about people. I think everybody who grew up in my era, in my neighborhood, we don't roast, we rank. We gonna give you what you want when it comes to that verbal assault. And it's no hold bar. Anybody can get it. And before I know it, I was talking about the boy. I was talking about his imaginary family. I was talking about his mammy. All the above. And my wife had to come get me. And I ended up having, like, I was trying to apologize. I was like, man, I'm sorry. Because one of the dudes, I went so far with him, they were actually winning the match, and he quit the match. He quit. He was just like, no, I can't hear this dude talk no more. And like later on that night, I the little angel sat on my shoulder. I was like, you was wrong for that. And because it goes totally against the brand in which I'm trying to found on that platform. So you have to be very mindful of how you push through storms, because there are individuals who are paying attention. So you have to act accordingly. Now, one of the biggest things that I also think that has made Miss Carter such a phenomenal creator is her ability to build a team. Those individuals, I'm not sure how many people she had on that production, but I pray that every single person that was involved in that production finds their way to being multimillionaires, because the work that was displayed made you say, wow. So I can just imagine what the real work was like. And the mastery of the crafts that every individual brought to that production was bar none. You got dancers, you got background singers, you got a marching band, you got the people who are handling everything behind the scenes, and to pull that off, the biggest thing I was thinking about the whole time, I was like, yo, they did this 2 days in a row. Like, how? Like, how did you do this? Like, and I know I don't care nothing about no editing that they had on the homecoming. Everything that I saw was perfection. So in order to provide a product like that and a service like that, you have to be able to build a team. And you have to go through the process of learning how to build a team. You know, I'm quite sure we didn't recognize it, but someone recognized it at the point was that that maybe that Coachella performance couldn't have happened with the original members of Destiny Child if they would have stayed together. And see, that deals with vision. And the biggest thing about building your team has to be a tangible account of your vision, of your end vision, and not just the vision of where you are currently. See, a lot of the times when we are going about the process of living out our purpose, we work with individuals from where we are in the present, instead of working with the individuals we need to work with to get us to the end goal. And sometimes we just don't work with anybody at all. For me, that's my issue. I'm a creator. I create all my creations. I take care of like they're my baby. I get very protective, and I don't want nobody to come near it. I'll take care of it myself. But I understand that for the vision that I have and what's been purposed for me, I can no longer operate, and I can continue to operate like that and be useless, or I can go ahead and build a team around me that matches with my end vision, and that I can somehow help in their vision so we can get things pushing forward. But building your team, you have to be able to build your team. You have to find, a lot of people say like-minded individuals. I don't want anyone that's like-minded like me. I couldn't deal with another me. What I would suggest that you do, you reach out to individuals that you have an attraction to. And when I say attraction, I'm not talking about a physical attraction. What I'm talking about are individuals that you're drawn to. Because usually the individuals that you're drawn to, they have something that you know that you're lacking in. The conversation just needs to be had. So I would most definitely, spend the time to really start to build out your team. One of the things that I would challenge you to do in your journal is to think about your vision. Think about what you want to achieve in life, and start thinking about the people, places, and things you need in order to get there. Once you start thinking about the people, places, and things you need to get there, you can then start to formulate a needs assessment on the people that you're currently connected with that have anything that you need. And then for everything that you don't have someone that you're connected to that can provide you with that need, that means it's time for you to increase your capacity and do some networking and find your place in the positions to where you can then attract the individuals who might have what you need. Because this is what I'm understanding about the entrepreneurial lifestyle and about the ownership mentality. It's not about what you can go out and purchase. It's not about who you can pay. It's about who you can increase your level of influence to come and work with you. Because if you might meet somebody like me, I may have a particular talent and skill that you need in order to fulfill something in your life. And you might just think that, okay, I can throw amount of money and they'll do it. But there's a shift going on right now. I have principles. So if you come to me and you just throw a dollar amount at me, but if your vision are in line with my principles, there's nothing I can do for you. Once again, money over principles, MOP. I mean, principles over money, POM. You know, there are certain things that I'm not going to sell out to this day. I would probably be in a very much more comfortable place than I am right now if at any point in my life I just would have said, you know what, I'll just go ahead and do it. I'll check it out. But you got to go by those principles. So, got to build the team. Now, the fourth thing that I learned from the Homecoming documentary is that, and I think this is the most amazing part. Well, this is the most intriguing part of the documentary for me, is that I did some research because looking at the I've never really seen like a full Coachella set before. I've looked at some people like excerpts where they performed a song or two at Coachella, but nothing like major. I never really looked at anything major. Now, after I looked at Homecoming, I was like, because just looking at the set design and everything that she had set up, I'm thinking, yo, one, I want to know how much they paid her. And then two, I need to know how much her set design was, because it ain't look cheap. And I was just like thinking of those things. And so I did some research, and what I found out, and like it's actually a big thing right now because, well, they're trying to make it into a big thing. But so I'll just put it out there. So right now, there have been some discussions. No one has ever really disclosed the amount of money that they paid Beyonce for her Coachella set. Now, it was just released that Ariana Grande is getting like $8 million. Well, in years previously, the headliner would receive between, I think they said, $3 and $5 million, right? So everybody is saying that it was speculated that Beyonce got $4 million. And so they're trying to create this narrative to where they're saying, okay, Ariana Grande is getting $8 million. Why did Beyonce, with the greatest Coachella experience ever, only get $4? And I almost got sucked into it. I was about to get mad because shouldn't nobody try Miss Carter like that, you know? Because I can't even tell you an Ariana Grande song. If someone told me right now to name an Ariana Grande song and they had 100,000, I'm just gonna have to say I decline. You know, I would have to refer to my daughter. So I was like, I know they ain't trying to come like try the Queen like that, try Miss Carter like that. But I started doing some research, and what I found out was, you know, there's a trend that's building with people who have power of influence, to where they now understand the end game, and they don't want to. They're not going to accept anything less than to acquire the vehicles and things needed to get them to their end game. So what I found out was that, yeah, Ariana Grande, she might have got $8 million. But what is speculated, now like I said, they've never disclosed how much they paid Beyonce, but it's speculated that she got like $4 million. But with that $4 million, she actually formulated a partnership to which she could actually use the material from Coachella in other things. What are these other things? The first thing was the Homecoming album. Coachella doesn't get paid from off the Homecoming album. That's all Miss Carter and her team. I looked at through the history, you won't find any other artists who released their music on a CD from Coachella. So now you've built a revenue stream there. Yeah, you took the $4 million, but now you set up a partnership, and with this partnership, what you did, you went ahead and set up, and now you basically have resparked interest into some of your older material in a new way, to where everybody's going to be listening to it. I know everybody's going to be listening to this for the rest of 2019. Yeah, yes. Ladies in my line. Send me a DM at Jules and Tools Podcast on IG and tell me I'm a liar. I won't get not one DM. I know I won't. Because y'all going to be rocking it to the end of the year. At least to the end of the year. Now, so she's built that revenue stream. So then, preparing for this podcast, I started doing some more research. And what I found is that, so the whole Netflix thing, I thought this was, something that was Netflix, Coachella, and Beyonce. Now, Jack. When she got the rights to the performance, she then used the value of that performance to then go to Netflix and orchestrate a partnership deal with Netflix for 3. Yeah, ladies, that's right. I did say 3. It's some more material on its way. All right, you heard it first on the Jules and Tube podcast. 3 events on Netflix. Y'all ready for the total? $60 million. I'll let y'all get all them adjectives out y'all system. $60 million. Divide 60 by 3, you get $20 million a piece for whatever else you do. She might do a cartoon. $20 million. It might be, we don't know what Beyonce is going to do. But she got $60 million. So now you take your $4 million that you got from Coachella. Then you got to think about the record and streaming sales that she's going to get from the actual Homecoming. And the thing about the Homecoming, because it's live, more people are going to be apt to actually purchase this material because it's live than just a regular studio album. Because live versions of things seem to kind of dissipate. And they get that intrinsic value. So one of the first things that I'm doing, me personally, I would be buying the Homecoming album on vinyl. I'm going to buy 3 of them. And give one to my daughter that she'll never be able to open. See, you got to think, y'all. You got to think. Set your kids up. Now the third thing, $60 million from Netflix. You cannot, in order to do any of that, you have to build value. You have to learn how to build, you have to learn how to increase the value of yourself and for your brand before you can do things like that. Or you would be Ariana Grande. You could be Ariana Grande and get $8 million. Or you can consistently work on your power and influence and be Miss Carter. And Right now we're at 64 million with a couple million to spare with the album sales. That's a 64 million and 8 million. There's a vast difference between the two. And it's not like with the $60 million deal from Netflix. Yeah, she's going to have to put in more work for other things. But she's a creator. Like, I just can't get over that, y'all, as y'all can see. So you got to learn how to build value. Build your value so you can actually start to demand your price. And instead of demanding the price, start to demand partnerships. Like, that's what I'm on right now. Like, I know right now I have to put in the work in order for me to get to the point so I can build value for myself, so I can go ahead and demand partnerships instead of pay. But I know I can only do that if I continue to put in the work. I got to continue to push through my storms. And then I also got to have the right people around me to help build those opportunities. Man, it's real. All right. Now, the last thing that I love about Miss Carter, and Madonna also had this thing, you have to be able to reinvent yourself. And when you reinvent yourself, first you have to be willing. 2, you have to be consistent. And then you also have to be observant. And then you have to be able to use the things, those other 4 attributes when you are reinventing yourself. So when you can't, people aren't always going to be attracted to the same things. They're not. It's impossible. Ladies, how long can you keep the same nail color on your fingernails? I know most of you probably cap out at about 10 days. After 10 days, you don't want that no more. So we have to take the same attitude toward our branding and the services and things that we offer. We have to be willing to reinvent ourselves. The same thing that was good for us last year and the same thing that made us money last year, it can make us money this year, but there's probably something else to where we can grow through, increase our capacity to make some more, or to do better, or to build our power and influence. You got to be able to reinvent yourself at a drop of a dime. And the way that we're gonna to reinvent ourselves, be authentic. Be authentic. And part of being authentic is also being observant. Look what's going on around you. You don't change with the changes. You adapt to the changes. Because if you can't adapt, you're going to end up being outdated. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I've ever made in life, 2 things. One, because I thought it was crazy. I thought it would never happen. And I didn't see a need for it. I probably had a small fortune in VHSs and CDs. But I would never buy the materials or the hardware needed to take my VHSs and make them into digital, and then so forth and so on. So now, I don't even think we have any more VHS tapes no more. And I had all the classics. Everything from Disney World. Like, the stuff that's in the vault that you'll never see again. I think we even had Puff the Magic Dragon. You can't even find Puff the Magic Dragon nowhere. I don't even think it's on Disney. I don't even think you can get it from the vault no more. But I allowed the fallacy of, it'll always be accessible or it'll always be around. So I didn't buy the hardware and software and everything needed in order to transfer those things and digitize them, things of that nature, to make them relevant in the now. I wasn't being observant. So make sure, if you are interested in increasing your power of influence, you have to also be interested in how you are going to reinvent yourself consistently and be willing to do so. All right. So run back through the 5 steps again. First, if you want to be like Miss Carter, you got to put in the work. 2, you have to be able to push through your storms. 3, you got to be able to build a team. 4, you have to build value for yourself and your brand. And then 5, be willing, be consistent, and be observant and ready to reinvent yourself. All right. So this is the end. Like I said, we're doing 2 this week. I can't believe I made it this long. This was supposed to be 35 minutes, and I'm 30 minutes over. But I appreciate y'all though. Just getting y'all through the week. So I'm gonna upload this in a little bit, so it will be available, and it will be available on, like I said, we're on iTunes, we're on Google Play, we're also on Anchor, Spotify, SoundCloud. But if you want to make it easy for yourself, you can also, I would suggest that you subscribe to any or all of those services. I would appreciate it if you subscribe to all of them. If you have the accessibility to subscribe to all of them, please do so. But if you want to make it easy for yourself, you can always set up on CoachKel.com. We have it available for you there as well. And there's one more thing here. Be looking out on the Jewels and Tools podcast IG page, where we'll be keeping you guys updated on all of our content. This week, we're actually going to be asking some questions. So if you are fans of the Jewels and Tools podcast, make sure that you're checking the Jewels and Tools on IG at JEWELSNPODCAST on IG, because like I stated, we are going to be asking questions and also be on the lookout for a contest that we're putting on. Yep, you heard it here. We are doing a contest. I'm not going to give any details. You have to check the IG. So make sure that you are liking the IG page, following the IG page, and then also look for us on Facebook as well. And thank you guys so much for bringing in your week with me. I appreciate you all. Have a great one.
I don't gotta be it.